Alright, this is my first video about my garden. As you can see, it's growing pretty well. This is the first garden I've ever grown, and I just got a wild idea one day to make it happen. So, I'm going to walk through a little bit of how it came about, what I used to build it, and what I planted. I went to Lowe's and I got a bunch of wood. Cost me about $50 for the garden. I went to online and I got dirt ordered. I got 4 cubic yards and it was around $130 delivered. And then I planted all the seeds inside for a couple weeks, about a week to 2 weeks before I brought them outside. I actually planted a little early. I had one frost left before it warmed up. And I think the plants that took it the hardest were the cucumbers, but as you can see, they've come back around and they're flowering and have fruit on them, or vegetables. So let's start. I had this basil plant inside at my house, and I decided to put it in the garden just because, and it's doing extremely well. All the parsley was baby parsley when I planted it, and it's huge now, won't stop growing. And the rosemary was also just a small plant. It's not getting too much bigger, but it's still doing pretty well. This is mint, and it's doing extremely well. It's starting to go everywhere. And then peppermint is growing faster than I can keep track of. It's going all through the garden. Can't see very well, but it's traveling out. This is a hot pepper plant, and it's doing the best out of all the ones I planted. I think it's partially due to the shade that the broccoli is providing, and that was planted from seed. As you can see over here, all these other hot pepper plants are out in the direct sun, and they're taking a lot longer to grow. This is basil that I planted from seed, and it won't stop growing. It's out of control, actually. Like I said, this is all hot pepper plants. They're doing pretty good. This is a cilantro, and I didn't mean to plant it in the pepper row, but when it was little, it was hard to tell what it was. And it's the only cilantro plant that I had, and the first part of seeds growing, and I planted some more later on. Alright, right here I have more hot pepper plants, and I cut up some pieces of potato and planted them in here, and I actually forgot about it, and the potato is doing really well also. I've got 2 potato plants growing, and later on I'll have to put some kind of mulch or something around for those, maybe move some of the plants a little bit. There's another little cilantro that's not doing too well. Mustard plants. Those are onion plants that were in my cupboard and had turned rotten, but I got the idea to throw them out here about a week ago, and now they've all perked right up, along with some more mustard plants. Alright, this is my broccoli. We bought it from the store, and they were about 2 inches tall when we bought it, and it's hard to tell on here, but the plants are about 2.5 feet, 3 feet tall, and they're about the same width. And I have broccoli. It's getting big now, and all the plants are doing about the same. This row used to be a lettuce row, but the lettuce have a small root system, and they didn't take too well to being raised up. So I removed all the lettuce, and I put in tomato plants that I just had extra in trays. And they're doing alright. They're not getting as much sun because the broccoli's taking all the light, but they're doing pretty good. This row is all cucumbers. These plants on the end are getting there. They're taking their time. But these plants have already started attaching their vines and have little baby cucumbers. Let's see if I can get that in focus. little baby cucumbers. And they're doing pretty well. I put that little screen up just to help them grow up it. The next row over, I have a watermelon plant, the only one I could get to grow. All the other seeds didn't sprout, and it's taking its sweet time. It's probably not the right time of year to plant it, but I did it anyway. Like I said, it's my first garden, and I'm just having fun. That is a squash plant. No, I take that back. This is another cucumber plant. I planted that later. More mustard seed that we planted out about a week ago. And then here's all the squash. The squash is probably doing the best out of anything I started from seed. It's growing just wild. You can see it's got flowers on it, and it has little baby squash. I'll go to the other side so you can see them. But all of the plants have squash that are about 2 inches long with flowers on them. In between these rows, I planted more carrots. I had some carrots started, but decided I didn't have enough. So I just took the whole bag of carrots, or the seed of carrots, and sprinkled them in this row. And they've all sprouted and doing pretty good. Seems like carrots take a little while to grow. This is 2 rows of tomato plants, and they are growing amazing. They all have flowers on them. They've all taken really well, not having any problems with them. In between the tomato rows, I planted more basil. Oops, I got a couple weeds I gotta pick. I just spent an hour picking weeds out here. Try and stay on top of that. So, where's it at? There it is. Basil plant, more basil plants, and all the way through the row I have basil plants. We like basil, we like to make pesto, and we decided to plant a whole bunch of basil plants in between that row. Here's where I moved the lettuce to. This lettuce is romaine lettuce, and it's done pretty well for not dying, but it won't grow. And I think that's just because it's another cool plant, and I have it out in the spring. It's getting a lot more sun than it likes. Hopefully when these tomato plants pick up and start to block a little more of the sun, they'll start to grow a little better. And then in the middle of that I have some mustard seed plants. At the ends of this row, I have pea pods, or pea plants. And the whole row next to the lettuce is all pea plants. And they're just taking their sweet time to grow, not pressuring them. The next row over is onions. We bought those as little starter onions. They were probably 2, 3, 4 inches long in a little tied up thing together at Lowe's. And they've all taken off pretty well. The next row over I have some more mustard plant. And then corn. We planted a 3-row block of corn, which is all done quite well. Down here in this corner we've got some more onion, some chives, a sunflower seed, and some more cilantro that I planted from seed because I killed all the other one. Over here in this corner we have asparagus, which I heard takes a couple years for it to really perk up, but it's doing alright, hanging in there. And then multiplier onions. The neighbor across the street brought over a bag of dead multipliers, and within a week of planting them they just took off like crazy. I guess it's probably about time to split them because they're getting rather large. And the onion part, the tops of them, taste a lot like chives. It's really good to cut off and use as onions or chives. Over here we have the carrots that I planted when I first planted all the seeds, and they're doing pretty good. They're about 6 to 12 inches tall. this one tomato plant is a Roma tomato plant, and it was about a foot. It's hard to see. It's about a foot when I brought it over. It was a leftover plant from last year, and I had problems with... I'm trying to show you this tomato if I can find it. There it is. It's got some nice aromas on it. It was a leftover plant, and it had caterpillar problems. The horned caterpillars just tore my tomato plants up, so I quit watering it, left it be, and this is the only plant that survived. So I decided to bring it over here and plant it, and it has grown immensely. We bought 2 raspberry bushes, and they've taken off. We have a grape vine, and it's not really doing a whole lot. I guess it's grown, actually in the last week, I guess it's grown up quite a bit. It's nice. And then blackberry. They were really long, but when we transplanted them, they died. So I left them in the ground, and they sprouted new stems, and now they have flowers on them. It's really bright out here, I'm sorry. They have new flowers on them, and they're growing well again. Here's that squash plant. You can see how big the squash are getting. There you go. Block some of the sun. And we're back to the beginning. So there you go. That's my garden, and it's doing quite well. Feel free to leave comments, or if you have any questions, I'll help you answer them as best I can. Thanks for looking.